was a sight for my soul.
Yeah, what's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, as you can see across the bottom of your video today. And welcome to my Wednesday live stream, where it is a mix of a vlog, it is a mix of an update, it is a mix of some entertainment as I'm looking to build this thing up here. I'm streaming across multiple platforms. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, all of them things. Kick. Where else we at? Twitch. We multiple streaming because we doing multiple big boy things over here. Hope y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. This is the last Wednesday of the month, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, I didn't see a lot about it because it got overshadowed by Hawk Tour spit on that thing. But nevertheless, we're here. We got the 4th of July coming up next week. As a matter of fact, the 4th of July, okay, that's on a Thursday. So we are going to be live next Wednesday to give an update, okay? I'm going to be doing weekly updates about how TRTs affected me, testosterone replacement therapy, as there's been other men that have asked me questions about it. Like, there's a little bit of mystique around it. So I'm going to use my vlog to give those weekly updates, talk about some cryptocurrencies that I'm looking at. I've got this segment that's called Reddit Reads, Rants, and Advice. And it was something that I used to do a while. I'm bringing that back. And here's why. People don't know how to ask people for advice in person. And I don't know why. If I need to ask somebody for advice, anybody that know me know I'm going to pull up and be like, yo, Michelle, I need some advice. Hey, Peter, there's something that I'm thinking about that I need to kind of hammer out. Hey, CQ, mind if I come by and holler at you for a minute? I think that there's nothing wrong with seeking counsel, yet you look at the younger generations of people and they're struggling in life and also struggling asking for people for advice. I don't understand it. It is what it is. But we've got some people to acknowledge that are tuned in live. We got my lady, God Happened to Me, aka my boo thing, aka Hey Lover. Glad you are in the building. Good to see you. We got Tarika, last name Smith. Are we related? Maybe, maybe not. Shout out to Tarika, one of the people who moderate this channel, and she moderates the King and Me show over on YouTube. I appreciate your support, Tarika. Thank you very much. God Happened to Me said, hey, my love. All right, that's what's up. So let's get this thing kicked off here. Let's start with my TRT update for week 3. So I have now pinned 2, 4, 5 times. Okay. So I had my 5th injection yesterday. I go every Tuesday and every Friday. And what I've said in the past about feeling what was possibly a placebo effect, I have felt more energetic and I have gotten better sleep since that first injection. Okay. I'm waking up without my alarm, ready to start the day. Now, here's my, let me see if I can whiten this out or whatever. Here's my injection box. I don't want to show everything because there might be some HIPAA stuff on here. And I am taking what is 100 milligrams a week to start out. And I'm doing it intramuscularly. That's a whole lot of syllables. Intramuscularly. 6 of them things. Wait, did I do it right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, Michelle, let me know if I did it right in sign language. I probably jacked it all up. But the injection into the muscles I'm having no issues with. I was really nervous about doing that at first because I've never stuck my own self with a needle. And a couple of my friends are Army vets, and they were like, bro, we used to give ourselves IVs after going out clubbing on a Friday and Saturday night just to try to stay hydrated and show up for formation on a Sunday because somebody did something stupid that Friday and Saturday night. But for me, it was a new experience. So I was real nervous about doing it. Now, if you don't recall, I said I was given two options by the business that I went to go use here in my local city. And the options that the nurse practitioner who I went to provides are you can give yourself the injections, whether subcutaneously, which means in the fat, or intramuscularly. And I'm probably still saying that wrong. I am injections. Um, in the muscle, which is typically your glutes, or she said I could do my shoulders. And I chose to just do my butt cheeks in case doing it in my shoulders caused my arms to get wrong and, you know, or get sore is what I meant to say. And y'all don't realize how much you actually like you use your arms. You don't really use your butt cheeks that much like that. So I'm just like, let me just poke myself in the butt cheek. No diddy. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. And so far, I've had no issues with that. You have two different needles. One is for the draw of the medicine from the bottle, and the other one is for the application that goes into the butt cheeks. And to date, I haven't had any issues. And you alternate. So with me, I'm doing Tuesday, Friday. Right butt cheek is Tuesday, left butt cheek is Friday. Why that order? It's just the way that I chose and started out. I'm backwards. If you know me in real life, you already know that. Okay. But I've had more energy. And I believe I'm a little bit more focused. It's not just a quick snap and things are instantly changed for you. But I've noticed those changes. I've noticed that I'm a little bit more sharp and I'm getting there piece by piece. All right. So that's all I have for my week 3 update. There was somebody that left a comment on my week 1 video that said he's going to be following for the updates. So to that person, thank you. I'm going to always put that information out at front. And if you don't want to listen to anything else about my videos, you can click off. All right. Shout out to Kaz, said the potential side effects turned me off of TRT. Yes, and actually, Kaz, thank you. I was about to move on to the next thing, but I do need to talk about what happened when I went to see my cardiologist and what my cardiologist said. Okay, so and there's something else that I'm going to bring up as well. So the potential side effects. They talk about blood clots, increased acne, and those are the two that I can recall off the top of my head. And as somebody that has a cardiac diagnosis, I have what's called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I got it when I was about 26 years old. It is something that I definitely had to keep in mind. So I had a cardio appointment with my cardiologist last Friday, and I have two cardiologists. I have one that's like a general cardiologist, and another one who's like a specialist for my heart condition. And I have my lady there with me, and you know how they ask you if there's any updates to anything or whatever. I told them, I said, hey, I've started taking testosterone. Is there anything that I need to worry about? And he said, well, I don't know. Okay. So he went through and looked at some doctor things online specific to my condition and an increase in testosterone. And he said, look, I don't have anything I could tell you definitively about it to say it's okay for you to take it or not. You should ask that to your specialized cardiologist and go from there. So That's what I'm doing. I don't have any other updates from the heart side of me with those kind of side effects. But as soon as I know something, I will put it here on the live stream. Cos mentioned something about increased estrogen, and I wonder if the VA supports TRT. Let me address that real quick, Cos. Me starting this started with talking to the VA because I have TRICARE and I have VA healthcare. And I started talking about and wondering what my testosterone level were a year and a half ago. And they got my levels. And so if there's a range, and let's say the range is 300 to 1200, my range was 150, right? Below the normal range level. And reading about some of the symptoms, it started to make sense. Things started to click. And I made a push to my primary care physician with the VA that, hey, maybe I should look at testosterone. But they wanted to do some natural things to increase it, which I tried. They also had me go get an MRI to see if maybe there was a mass or something that was causing my testosterone levels to be as low as it was, and everything was clear. Thank goodness, right? So we worked those things with the VA, but as I still tried to push to look at getting it prescribed and just going that route, my primary care physician was hesitant, but couldn't explain to me why. Could not explain to me why. And I was then hesitant going off base to a provider because I'm like, I don't want to go to somebody and they see my labs or they do labs on their own, see that I'm really low, but they just want the business versus actually looking at the symptoms. But the lady who I talked to when we had the initial consult, she alleviated my concerns that she's not just there for the money, she's looking at you for the symptoms. And if the TRT treatment increases my symptoms and helps with that, and I'm telling this to the VA, I don't understand why the VA then can't get on board to take a look at that for other veterans, because she also talked about how most people in the military, because it's a high stress profession in the first place, military, firefighters, and cops, that they have more cortisol that's released in their body over their lifetime than the average person. Over time, when your body gets through that, like the fight or flight and whatever high pressure situation that you were in, and then it tries to get the rest of your hormone levels back normal, things can go haywire if you get that cortisol, boom, right? And then you come off, and then boom, and you come off, and then boom, and then you come off. So she said that if you look at medical studies, when you observe people that were in the military, firefighters, cops, they tend to have lower testosterone as they get older than the average person. And that made sense. That made sense to me. So if the VA doesn't take a look at that, maybe somebody like me needs to champion that. Okay. One of the other reasons why I was looking at the TRT for me was my libido was trash. I mean, absolutely garbage. If this is the floor, my libido was like right here. All right. And as somebody in a relationship, it was something that I was considering as well. Now, the interesting part about this is that let's say TRT did not treat my libido. I wonder if my lady would have still been around if my libido stayed low. All right. But that's something that she gonna have to answer. But for me, I have noticed a gradual increase in how my libido is affecting me. All right. And for me, I've been seeing an increased libido and no ED for me. I am in Reddit groups, and in Reddit groups, because of the way that your other hormones interact as well. Again, I'm not science or whatever, scientific or whatnot, but if your estrogen increases, then that can lower your libido, cause ED, all of that jazz. For me, it's done the exact opposite. My libido has increased, not like how it was when I was in my 20s, right? Where I could walk outside, you know, see somebody that, you know what I'm saying, and it's like reporting for duty immediately. Not like that, but it's better. Okay. But I'm only 3 weeks in. When my labs get redone, I'm going to show my actual numbers, show where I started, show where I'm at, and just keep building on that, talking about it. And I can't wait until I can get those adjusted, optimized levels for what works for me. Okay. Shout out to my mom. She said TMI. All right. Too much information. Hey, mom, it's mental health awareness month over here. Okay. Gotta happen to me said she would stick around because she loves me. You know what? That's on record. All right. That's on record. So yeah. Kai said, good on me, man. Not the ED or libido thing, just the TRT journey as a whole. Hey, I could get 6 months out and something comes up and it's not for me. It's not cheap. The route that I'm going is $165 a month. And that covers the prescription, that covers the visits to the nurse practitioner, that covers the labs, like that covers everything, right? I'm injecting myself, but I do have access to the nurse practitioner and her practice and everything. And she's looking at the labs and monitoring everything and all of that jazz. So 165 a month, part of my budget. If I could get the VA to supply it, I like the lady that I started with, right? She's helped kickstart this thing, but I'm loyal to my pockets. I'm just saying. God happened to me said, I love the entirety of your being. Aw, don't get me mushy. Shout out to Cody Beverly over on Facebook said, yeah, my buddy told me the same thing, man. He said, you're going to feel like you're in your 20s again if you decided to do this, but we have to get you the right doctor. Hey, yeah, that it's hard to explain, but that vitality in life, you can feel that once your levels get to where they need to be. And that's how it is for me. I feel a little bit more vitality. I had several things to do after I got off of my primary job today. And I knocked it out and I don't feel tired. I rolled right into doing that to grabbing me something to eat real quick and then prepping and getting ready for this live stream. About 6 months ago, I'd get off work and I work from home. I'm a remote employee, but I get off work and I'd be tired and it was affecting just getting things done. Wanting to get out and enjoy outside. And y'all that follow my social media, y'all see I'm always out doing something, or at least that's the perception anyway. People be like, man, you and Michelle, boy, y'all stay doing something. I wish my bank account knew that. That was just a joke. I wanted to throw some comedy in there. All right. Let's see. There was another question that somebody had about just the sex life or sex drive in general. It's increased. It's increased. It has gotten better, definitely where it was before. But my mindset's a little different too. Like in my 20s, I think I was led more by little man than, than this brain, right? This head. And now I'm more about, okay, what are the tasks that need to get done? Like I'm not going out and chasing or thinking like that as I was in my 20s. I'm a little bit more focused. Okay. But it's not trash like how it was 6 months to a year ago. So that's my update. If anybody has any other questions, put it down in the chat. What I got next? Next is cryptocurrency news. So let me share my screen here. My channel actually initially started to get bigger when cryptocurrency was like at its height several years ago. And it has since came down. But top of the screen here, if you can see my mouse, what I'm circling, the market cap for cryptocurrency in total is still $2.3 trillion, in which the last 24-hour trading volume, that's all buys and sales, was sitting at $79 billion. That's billion with a B. Okay. So what does that mean to you? If you don't know or care about cryptocurrency at all, but you care about money, then you can say, well, there's still money to be made. Somebody is placing value on something, and I want to be a part of it. If we open up Bitcoin here and we take a look at where Bitcoin was at, Bitcoin 1 year ago today was $30,083, and today it's double that at $60,856 per Bitcoin. Literally double. If you had owned one Bitcoin a year ago, you now have 30 more thousand of whatever your local currency is. I'm dollar, so I'm going to speak in dollars. And the way that people are talking about Bitcoin is that when this circulating supply gets to the total supply, which there's never going to be any more Bitcoin minted, then that is going to increase the scarcity and cause Bitcoin's price to shoot to the moon. Where it goes, I don't know, but people are assigning value to it. And as they're assigning value to it, I want a piece of the action. That's the simplest way that I can explain why I am into cryptocurrency. The technical analysis or technical things behind what cryptocurrency can do, I'm not here for that. That is going to require a whole separate series of certain cryptocurrencies and what people are trying to technically aim to do with cryptocurrency. Okay? I'm not here for that. I'll tell y'all, I've got a crap ton of Shiba. I think that Shiba is one of the ones that's currently sitting at a $10 billion market cap, which about a year and a half ago, it was at a $40 billion market cap with a higher price than this. Right now, both stocks and cryptocurrency are lower than where they were during the last bull cycle. But if you can gamble, and I'm going to say gamble, I'm using that word very specifically. If you can gamble on the right cryptocurrency, you can really take your initial investment and 30x it overnight. But that's one of the cons about cryptocurrency as well either. To 30x something overnight means that something is more volatile, and there's a lot more swings in cryptocurrency than, let's say, like the stock market, or if you're a more safer type of person that's looking to do something with your money, like bonds or something. Okay, so this is like not financial advice. I'm just speaking on some things that I know, some plays that I'm making, and what it is that I'm doing. More specifically, I'll tell you about one that I believe can really raise some eyebrows, and it is called Brett on the Coinbase or the Basis blockchain. Okay, Brett has been out for, when did it come out? I want to say around February of 2024. And if you look at its all-time low, it is up 17,000% since it initially launched. So if you, to do quick math, if you would have taken $100 when Brett first came out and acquired Brett through a trade from a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange, you could have taken that $100 and times it by 178. And that's what you would have made profit wise. And Brett is liquid as well. It's not fully liquid, meaning that if there was what does it say that Brett's market cap is? It says that it's around 1 billion. It's not like you could go in and pull 1 billion out right now, but if you are somebody that, like I said, had that initial investment of $100, I can't do quick math here, but let me bring up this calculator. That initial $100 times 178 would be 17,800. I should have just moved 2 zeros. That's the Alabama math. I got it to Brett when Brett was at like 4 cents on not a whole lot of capital. But every time I get a little bit of extra change here, I'm adding to my position to increase my Brett. And I would show y'all, if I knew of a way to link my platform to my laptop or my desktop, I would actually show y'all how much Brett I have. I have just around 5,400 Brett, which at today's price, it's just under $1,000, $824. Okay. And I add $50 here, $40 there. I don't try to time it when it's down. Just whenever I have extra Skrilla, I get me some Brett. So that's my play. I also talk about and I share on my community tab on YouTube that I have an auto buy of $20 of Shiba every other Wednesday. Buy and forget. Is that a whole lot? No. Have I lost more than my initial capital? For me, no, because I got the Shiba early. All right. But this is my play. This is that $20 I use every 2 weeks. That's what a movie ticket and icy and popcorn, unless you go to Warehouse Theater here in Frederick, Maryland, where if you're veteran or military, your popcorn's free. Okay. So I restrict that, or I just take that budget, go elsewhere, spend my $20 in Shiba, and that's it. Over time, if Shiba does gain more value, or during the next bull cycle, Shiba skyrockets or Brett skyrockets. If Brett goes from a $1 billion meme coin to $40 billion, you just made a crap ton of money. That's my gamble on it. All right. You don't have to have that same belief, but that's my conviction play. All right. Who we have in the building here? My mom said, I'm out of here. My ears are burning. She said, I don't want to hear my son talk about his sex life. She did this right here. She was like, you know what? I got to run. She bounced. We got the sports bar. My main man Coach is in the building. He says, what do you hear? What do you say? I care more about crypto than the WNBA. That's hilarious. And it rhymed too. I don't know if you meant to do that. Shout out to Chelsea Nahalea. Said, hey, King. What up, Chelsea? Glad you are able to tune in. If there's a like button on your platform, by the way, hit the like button. That helps me out on the algorithm. That's the algorithm. Cody said, stock market is like gambling. Bottom line, crypto and stock market is the same thing. If you're a penny stock person, you're a crypto person. Same. Hey, man, now, hold on, zoom in on me. I tried to do penny stock buying, right? Some that were on Robinhood around 10 to 20 cents, because you can't, on Robinhood, a stock can't be listed on there for under 10 cents, lower than like 15 days or something. Otherwise, it gets delisted. But if you get lucky and you day trade, I ain't gonna say day trade penny stocks, you acquire a bunch of penny stocks, and that thing go from 11 cent to $5, you've made a nice chunk of change. And there have been some companies that have done that. Either they got bought out by a larger company, or they had an infusion of cash because of a product that they have built or launched, and some other company said, yeah, we want to help you guys with your business and get this product out to the market, yada yada. That Rivian just 100% it overnight, because, and I can't think of the company that it was, have said that they were going to put, I think it was $5 billion into Rivian, and it shot up. Rivian was kind of almost written off as a company to invest in, because Tesla and a lot of the major car makers like Ford, Honda, they're getting into the EV market now as well. And Rivian, who was at one point trying to position themselves to be like a Tesla rival, there's not a lot of people that you see driving Rivians, right? I don't think they dominate the EV market now. Ford is almost transitioning to all EVs. They have EV trucks. So Rivian was kind of rolled off. And with that news that happened, I think it was on Monday, man, when that stock jumped, I shook my head, because sometimes I'll go buy a stock or I'll get into something trying to forecast. I don't want to think about now, but 5 years from now, what can that company do? It's one of the main reasons that I'm trying to get a crap ton of SOUN. It's my belief that with the way that AI is being injected into everything, whatever company that can really perfect the AI sound, like the voice stuff. Like if you go to certain Wendy's in certain areas, you can order at the drive-through with you talking to somebody, but you're not talking to an actual person. You're talking to AI, but it's so natural now. There's businesses that are out there that are perfecting that. You can actually call and speak to a business, and you might think that you're speaking to a person, but they're starting to improve on those, like that natural voice with AI. And I think Sound is going to be the company that perfects it, or your Nvidias and the big chip makers and those guys, maybe Meta at Facebook, buys out that technology or injects a lot of cash into it and shoots that up through the roof. That's my Sound, SOUN, is my now Nvidia play. Like if you got into Nvidia well before Nvidia did the stock split, well before Nvidia damn near 10x, congratulations. All right. If you had the patience to stick around, you made some money. You're smiling. Nvidia made people who were comfortable and wealthy millionaires. I just didn't have the capital and the foresight to get into it as early as hindsight would lead you to believe. Okay. Cody talked about, yep, it gets delisted and then you end up losing that money. Robin Hoods are thieves, but they hide it. I had it with penny stock. I had it happen with penny stocks with exactly what you said. Yeah, I've lost out on more penny stocks than I have made with. I'll admit that I've had more of a loss than a profit. So I stopped dealing with penny stocks really altogether. And I'm just sticking around because I don't have a lot of cash to be hoping and just throwing out there. So I have my budget. I do certain things on stocks, certain things on cryptocurrency, and certain things on the Powerball, because I'm trying to also gamble and be that 1 in 270 million number to end up winning multiple millions of dollars. And then Cody said it's going to take more than jobs. They think you were part of that conversation with Darren. Yeah, I was. I'm all into cryptocurrency. I'm sorry, not cryptocurrency. I'm all into AI. I think you should understand what the market's doing so that you can be on the forefront of how do you either educate yourself or insulate yourself so that AI doesn't knock you out of a job. What that means for me is I might start to really learn and get technical, right? So that I could be that person that when you need a technical solution for what you're trying to do, you reach out to me and my company. I may not even need to be the technical person doing it myself, but I create the company, I hire the technical people, and then I go get all the government contracts because I'm at the leading edge of it, right? So it's just, you have to think like that if you want to insulate yourself from having AI take your jobs. Cody, you're an enlisted aviator. I'm not sure if you've got your private pilot's license as well. I think you were one of the people I know that I want to say was getting your license too. And think about this. I was telling this to somebody. Cars are essentially computers on wheels now. I rented a 2022 car rental the other day. No, sorry, it was either 2022 or 2024. I can't remember the year. The thing damn near drove itself. Versus my car, which is a 2020, it's still nice. It's got nice little bells and whistles on it, but it wasn't as easier to drive as my car rental was. Airplanes. Do you think you need to have a pilot in the airplane? Do you think that in our lifetime, we're going to get to where AI can take off from Atlanta and fly to San Francisco without even having to have a pilot that's remotely flying it? I think we can get to there in our lifetime. Maybe not before we check out of this earth, but the technology's there. Cars are almost driving themselves, putting certain Ubers and things out of business. So that's just the way that I think, man. Folks don't seem to want to really have that conversation. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm looking right at this camera when I say it, when I'm insulated because I've thought about this stuff years in advance, don't ask me for advice on what you should do. I'm going to say you should have been listening to my live streams back in 2024 when I was telling you to insulate yourself by learning a skill, creating a business, make yourself marketable so that AI doesn't affect you. Okay. But that's my thoughts. He said, hi, I knocked it out in 30 days. In our lifetime, we'll always have at least one. There's too much danger, like somebody hacking and taking it over. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me get into my next section here. And then I have a couple of more things. And then we're going to close out the live stream. I am doing a book review next month, July the 24th. It's on my normal Wednesday, of this book called Protect Your Peace by Trent Shelton. And on the screen here is my YouTube channel, which I put in the community tab here. A photo of the book. I bought it. I'm more of a guy that I like to actually read the book, because then if I need to go back and look at something, I know exactly what page to turn it to and all of that jazz. I don't mind audiobooks. I think audiobooks are dope. And it's a lot more convenient too. But if I'm doing an audiobook, I'm also probably working or doing something else. Audiobooks in the car are fantastic. But reading allows me to have to sit here, stop, right? Put the phone away, have the TV off, and I'm flipping pages. I'm focused on what it is that I'm reading, and I'm interpreting what the author is trying to say to me. My last book review I did was on David Goggins' book, Never Finished. It was his second book, and I recommend it. I recommend it for somebody that is trying to have a wake-up call. David Goggins, in this book, this was his second book, and it was after he rose to fame, right? When you've had reached a certain level of accomplishments, you might go, what do I need to do next? Or, well, I guess I've lived life. That's it. I'm going to go coast off somewhere. So in this book, Never Finished, he talked about how, okay, he had the Genesis Book of World Records for pull-ups. He's conquered being special forces, being a Navy SEAL. He's conquered getting up to 200 pounds and dropping all of that weight. He's conquered running half marathons to full marathons to doing a 100 miler to doing a 200 miler twice, because he technically didn't finish the first 200 miler because he got the 216 miles out of the 232 or 240 or something and couldn't finish. But he still went back, even though he didn't qualify finish, went back and finished it for himself, just to then go back and do it a whole year later. Right? And for me, the book resonated with me because that's what I want to ensure doesn't happen to me. I don't want to be taking steps at improving my life and then get to a certain place and then be like, well, I made it to the mountaintop. I'm going to stagnate. No. No. So I don't know where you are, viewer, listener, in what you're trying to accomplish or get done in life. But I do recommend checking out David Goggins' 2 books. This one's called Never Finished. The first one, it's been a while. I'd have to look it up. But the first one I'd recommend as well. Let me see if we got any other comments here before I go to my final thing. We got Pete. Pete's in the building. He said, my man. Hey, what's up, Pete? Glad that you are able to tune in. Matter of fact, we were talking about AI earlier, Pete. I know you're doing a live stream tomorrow about AI, and I will be tuning in. I can't join in, but I will be listening. And I'm curious to hear what you and the other people that you have on have to talk about it. So I'll be tuning into your channel, that's Grooming and Reviews, over on YouTube and Facebook, I want to say. But I'm glad that you are covering that. My last topic here before I end this live stream is I used to do this segment called Reddit's Reads, Rants, and Advice. And if you were here since the beginning of this live stream, I talked about how people, they turn to online for advice because you can hide behind a username and the keyboard and not fully put yourself out there. I think for the most part, people just want to be heard and they don't actually implement the actual advice. But for the people that do, then it is an avenue for you. I don't think you should just avoid going to online sources for advice because of what people might think about it. Okay. I think you use any avenue that's available to you. So this is my Reddit. I would show you my Reddit name. It's Kingsmith02. If you are on Reddit, look me up. I'm going to go to the subreddit called Advice. And I'm going to pick one. I've actually already picked it out. I'm going to read the question. And then if anybody, to include myself, have some advice for what this person is asking, put it in the comment section. So typical ad 4039 asked the following. They said, does anyone feel that most people don't have any hobbies nowadays and it's difficult to connect with them on anything? Reading with the actual King Smith. This is how this person actually typed this. Okay. And their question starts. I started talking to new people nowadays, but whenever I ask them about their hobbies or what they do in their free time, most of them reply scrolling Instagram reels or sleeping, and then I am not able to know what to talk to them about. What would you do in in this situation? And while I've read the question, I haven't read what other people said. But what would I do? I would door blink like this, and then I'd be like, all right, well, you have a good day, and walk off. Because if that's how they respond to you, then you don't have anything to talk about. But I would also challenge the poster by asking this: how are you talking in this conversation? What are your conversation skills like? If you have a Toastmasters club in your area, you should join that Toastmasters club. The reason why I say that is not only does Toastmasters help you improve on your own public speaking, but you meet other people that have hobbies and skills that might be to your liking, and you might be able to connect and meet a new friend there. So not only are you working on your communication skills yourself, it can possibly, if you are up to receiving the feedback and the training, get tools to help you kind of navigate a conversation. The only time that a conversation is truly one-sided is if somebody just shuts up and not say anything to you. Because there's still body cues that you can read, and I'm not great at body cues myself. Let me just say that straight up. I'm also the worst at reading sarcasm because I take most people literally for what they mean. So unless you say something sarcastically and laugh with it, I'm gonna believe what you say. It takes the least brain power to do that. I don't have to interpret anything or read between lines because I suck at it. But I know that about myself. So what would I do in this situation? I say, you know what? It's nice chatting with you. Or if you want to try to dig or connect with that person, look at what they're doing. If they're in their phone, ask them to talk about the video that they're looking at now. Or say, oh, what was the last video that you saw that was hilarious or funny? I'm pretty sure you have Instagram too, or TikTok or whatever. Ask them something about who their favorite TikToker is or their favorite person on Instagram. Start that, right? Michelle's good about that. Michelle's good about hearing what you're saying and making you the star of the conversation. It's a skill. I'm not good at it, but I'm getting better at it. I like to talk about me. Yeah. That's just being honest. But I'm trying to get better about having somebody that I'm in the conversation with be the star of the conversation. It's a skill, and she's mastered it. And she would probably sit here and be on this chat and talk about King. No, I don't. Yes, you are. Look at my eyes, Michelle. Yes, you are. You're good at it. All right. But let's see what a couple of other people said. Then we're going to close out the show. One person responded, I can imagine one factor being money. A lot of real hobbies, if you're serious about them, cost money one way or another for supplies, equipment, classes, etc. And a lot of people are struggling right now. Personally, I've definitely cut back on buying art supplies and books. The massive unread book stack is still there, of course. Why buy a book if you aren't going to read it? That's the thing. I'm also never going to buy a book unless I've read the previous book. And I put the date of my next book review up specifically so that, it holds my feet to the fire to make sure that the book is read. Another factor is time. Maybe cash rich and time poor, but most likely cash poor and time poor. Hey, that's true too. Like I talked about Toastmasters. Toastmasters is free to go to visit for a club, but to become a Toastmaster member, it's like $60 every 6 months or so. Like, yeah, 40 something or 60 something dollars every 6 months, right? So $100 to $120 a year. You can go as a guest and there's no financial obligation. You can show up to a club as a guest a bazillion times. There's just not a lot that you can do. You can't be fully evaluated. You can't go through their education process to level yourself up if you're not a paid Toastmasters member. But these two people are right. There's a cost to hobbies and things. And sometimes when people are in their 20s, the average 20-year-old doesn't have time for hobbies and things like that, unless it's video games. Let's see. What does somebody else here say? This person says most people probably do have hobbies, they just aren't willing to share. Hey, I can agree with that. This person agreed too and said, right on the money. Hobbies are sometimes that people feel is a part of their identity. So exposing that to the world or worse and having it criticized can feel personal. Right? Like people that do what's that one workout that it seems like a cult? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I have a couple of old pilot buddies that do it. They're in the gym, there's a workout of the day. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me Google it. Workout of the day. Blah blah blah. Workout of the day. CrossFit. CrossFitters. You know, you go and talk about CrossFitters and be like, oh, like so some people say, oh, I do CrossFit, and I've seen other people turn their nose up at the mention of CrossFit. Like somebody working out is a bad thing. Oh, we got marriage, politics, and sports in the building. Shout out to Marriage, Politics, and Sports said that she or he can offer up a few hobbies that she likes to do. Some people have routines and don't think of it as a hobby. That's a good point. That's a good point. I do video editing as a hobby for myself and other people that I know, right? I'm not getting paid for it. There are some people that do kind of, break it off, but I enjoy video editing. The process is fun for me. It is time consuming. Would I like to get to a point to where I'm doing this fully? Absolutely. I need to raise my skills up a bit, but absolutely. I consider these live streams a hobby. Get behind a camera and a microphone and start talking can be a hobby. Thanks, Cody. Yeah, he eventually put it in there. CrossFit. I don't know why I was blanking on it. God Happened to Me said, being time poor is a whole thing. I can understand. Yes, that's going to be one of my next future vlogs is just time management, right? I manage my time as efficiently as I can, but I know to somebody like Michelle, it could probably seem chaotic, but it works for me. It works for me. I could be better about it. I'll admit that. And actually, because of her, I have gotten a little bit better about it, right? I think I'm a little bit better about putting things in calendars and checking it out and stuff. It's still not as efficient as she would be, but hey, I can't be like that, right? Let me see if there's any more other comments that stand out here, and then we're going to close out the live stream. I appreciate everybody that is tuned in. If you hadn't hit the like button, go ahead and do that. This person here, Rainbow and Honeybee, says, on the other hand, I think a lot of people do have interesting hobbies. It's quite clear if you are on Reddit. So many active subs with vast number of people in different categories. So let me stop there before I read anything else. Fantastic start of this point. There is a subreddit for any and everything. Now, if the original person that asked the question is trying to find somebody local and engage with that person in person, if you can't find any interesting people that do interesting hobbies where you're at, then you might need to just go online and look for a community and then find where that closest community is to you and go there. Don't be lazy. Don't think that people that do the same hobbies as you should live right down the road. The closest biggest city to me is Baltimore. And Baltimore has everything. Where I live at, there is a lot to do here too. Don't get me wrong. But I'm sandwiched in a really interesting spot in that Baltimore is like 45 minutes one way. DC is about 45 minutes to 5 hours, depending on traffic the other direction. And you can find a community locally by going online. Facebook has communities that you can search. There's the app WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp has communities as well. If you're finding trouble, OP, talking to people and asking them about hobbies and things, whatever you're interested in, join an online community, and I will hazard a guess that you can find somebody that's close to you, and then y'all can have link ups and talk about y'all's hobby. I think that the original poster needs to improve their communication skills. But this person here continues and says that I think the hobby communication shifted to more the internet rather than real life. That's funny. I didn't even read ahead on that to get to that point, but that's a little bit true as well. Like I gave the advice of look for something online, look for a community online, and then see who's close to you in that community. Unless you are in a club or group of same interests. And it has become so deep it's quite difficult to talk about it to the people who has no knowledge of the topic. So maybe they just say something general until they get to know you. And that's the other thing too. Imagine walking up to strangers and being like, so what you like to do? You know, some days people want to talk, other days they don't. You might just catch people on times that they just don't have anything to conversate about. All right. So to the original poster, let me scroll back up here and asked, what would you do in a situation where you're talking to somebody and all they say is that they do Instagram scrolling and sleeping? You walk away. Plain and simple. Either attempt to ask them something about, their interest, or you just walk away. Say, hey man, what was nice chatting with you, or hey dude, lady, person, alien, whatever people like to be called these days. It was nice chatting with you, and you just going about your day. All right. So that is my live stream for today. I like this new format. I think I am going to be able to keep up with this. And I'll be back next week, July the 3rd, live from Philadelphia, where I'm going to get a fire cheesesteak. Hey, where should I go? Coach, I don't know if you're still listening. I've asked you this already before. But to anybody else that's watching this live or that's catching this on the replay, give me food recommendations for Philadelphia. I'm going to try them all. I'm going to try them all. All right. God happened to be said no to Geno's. I should go to the hood. All right. Well, hey, I happen to like Geno's. I'm just saying. But I can't go to Geno's every time. So I have been to Geno's. I'm willing to try another record. I've been to Geno's. Coach talked about a place on one of our live streams. I've been there too. But if you got any specific food recommendations to try out in Philly, shoot them to me. I'm going to be there for a little bit over a week, or almost exactly a week. So I'm going to have plenty of time to scoop the scene. All right. God happened to me said, city recognized city. I'm going to hook you up. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Hook it up. Hook it up. All right. I'll be back next Wednesday, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you hadn't hit the like button, hit the like button. And we out. Peace.